this video, we're going to be looking at how to create the best looking infographics with NotebookLM. So I've got 4 quick tips for us, and then we're going to actually look at some of these in an example. The first thing I want to do is I just want to talk about this prompt box here, and I'll show you where to get that once we pop over to NotebookLM. But there are a few different things that we can choose in this box. The first being language. We won't talk too much about this one, but you can obviously customize these infographics to be any language. Keep in mind that you can't translate the same infographic. You would choose a language and then it would create a new infographic for you. The next thing that we'll look at is the visual style, and we'll talk about that one first. We'll also look at the level of detail. We'll describe the infographic we want it to create, and then finally we'll choose the orientation. So let's dive in. The first one is choosing the visual style. We really should be doing this based on content and not appearance. I know this is hard sometimes because we want things to look cute, but we're really thinking about what is the content of our infographic and which style best fits that content. Now you can always let it auto select a visual style for you. That's easy. But just a few recommendations. If we're talking about data, styles like editorial, professional, or bento grid, those work really well for data. It's very clean, and you're going to get a good looking graphic for that data. If we're talking about a sequence or a process, then Storybook or Sketchnote, those are probably your best options. If we're talking about content that really needs to feel accessible, so maybe this is really where our teaching content lands, kawaii, anime, 3D clay, bricks, all of those make it very easy for the students to understand the content. But you'll definitely want to make sure that you have that decision made before you open up that style panel. So I'm going to go into one of the notebooks we used in our last video. So just to remind you, the sources I have in this notebook are primary sources. Some of them are from the National Archives, a few other articles in there. I've got 4 sources. And in this one, I selected my infographic, and I'm just going to choose that arrow here. And then I really wanted this one to feel like a comic book. So think like Captain America style comic book. So I selected anime for mine, and then I had it generate the content for me. So based on those things, again, showing my four sources, I selected anime, and here's what it created. So it came out exactly how I wanted it to. It gave me the information in a way that feels accessible to my students. Looks like a comic book here. Of course, my recommendation is to always make sure that you're going through the content and making sure that there are no spelling mistakes, there's no information that maybe you want to not include in here or anything like that. But I think this one did a pretty good job with keeping that content and definitely making sure it's cohesive for those students. Now later on, if you are watching this video in June 2026, later this summer, we will be releasing a video on Canva and their multi-layer tool, which would allow me to take something like this and adjust it. So maybe this becomes a fill in the blank for students. So I've got some of the pictures in here, or I've got some of the content in here, and I want the students to actually fill in the other part of it. So stay tuned. If you're watching this after July, that content is already available on our YouTube channel. So that is our first example of an infographic, and really that style matters in this case. I don't know that the information for this would have gone over as well if we had selected this kawaii one. It's just my opinion though. All right, our next tip here is to not leave the prompt field empty, or maybe you generate an infographic with an empty prompt field, and if you like it, great. But if you're like, man, I just really need it to be a little more refined, I want specific content in there and it's not really giving me what I want, there are ways for you to get that content into the infographic exactly like you want. So a few things to think about. I would say, what is the thing that it should focus on? What's the big idea? Make sure you put the big idea into that space. Then how many supporting points do you want? Are there specific supporting points that you want? And then finally, this I think is important for education. What age the content should be geared towards. So what age should this content be geared towards? So I'm going to go back to NotebookLM. I am going to look at my evolution of seeds. So I'm using these are the same resources that I used in our previous video when we talked about reports and creating study guides. So we're using the exact same things here. So in this one, I have included just a YouTube video. So I have the YouTube video. I have decided already what I want that main point to be. So when I come in to create my infographic, this is where I'm going to type it. I can also choose the level of detail, concise, standard, or detailed. And I'm going to type in here, remember what I want the focus to be, how many key points, and then what age my learners are. So let me pull up the prompt that I actually used on this one. So you can see my prompt right here. So real quick, just a few sentences. They don't even need to be full sentences. Just like almost bullet points for NotebookLM to use as it creates these things. Additionally, we have what sources it's going to be using. Now in this case, I chose bricks. So maybe I know my students were, as a class, super into Legos, and I want this content to be displayed in a bricks style infographic. So let's see how this one came out. There we go. Okay, so I said that I wanted it to focus on the transition here between the two stages. I wanted there to be really 3 points. It did a pretty good job of that. We've got 2 over here, we've got 3 over here, 2 big points kind of in the middle there, but it kept it pretty clean. You can see here that it's geared towards 16-year-olds using that content that was covered in the video. So that's another really important point, that it's going to be only covering that content that is included in the video. And again, it used bricks as my style, and you can see how awesome that one came out. All right, our next one here. I don't actually have an example for this one, but we're just going to talk about it real quick. Choosing the orientations. Just keep in mind where you're going to be sharing this with students. So a few tips for this. If it's going to be like, I'm going to display this on my board in my classroom, like my Epson projector or my ViewSonic board, or it's going to be shown on a laptop screen maybe to students, then I think landscape is totally fine. So you can see like from this one here, if I've got this full screen, it's going to take up my entire, screen here, and it's going to be landscape, which is great. When would I use portrait? Portrait maybe I would use if I'm creating 2 infographics. Maybe I've split my sources and I'm going to create one infographic and the second infographic, and I want to display them side by side. Then maybe I have 2 portraits side by side, which would end up being probably more of like a landscape. And then finally square. So maybe I'm just going to be displaying this like on my Canvas page, and I just want to include a quick little square infographic. Keep in mind though, that once you select any of these things, you are not able to regenerate that with the same kind of content. It's going to regenerate it, yes. It's going to have the same sources, yes, but it may not end up being the exact same content. It just depends on how NotebookLM treats those. And then our final tip here is that source overload really creates text-heavy visuals, especially when you're not adding in a detailed description of what you'd like it to create. And this is going to be incredibly important in this this example here because if you remember from our last video, in this one, we were having students look at 2 different animals and their adaptations. So I've included 6 items, but only 3 of those are for the camels, or only 3 of those are for our fox, right? So I'm going to check or uncheck those sources so that I'm only using the ones that should be grouped together. So in this case, I'm going to look at just my camel and then just my fox. So back to my animal adaptations. We did the same thing when we were talking about creating study guides or creating brief here. So I'm going to look at my camels. Now in this one, I had it geared to a younger age group and I don't believe I selected a style. I think I kind of let it do its own thing. It might have been kawaii that I selected, but I have my summary of my information here. And this maybe would have been a good example of I was going to do this one portrait and the next one portrait, and then I can kind of put those 2 things together. So one last thing that I want to show you is when we are ready to take this out of NotebookLM, we're going to come here to more options, and I have the option here to download. So I also have that option right here. I can download it. I can also delete it, rename it. The share option is going to be sharing the link to the notebook. So keep that in mind. If you're going to share this with students, I would download it, add it to like a Google slideshow or something like that. But that's how I would download it. All right, so let's look at this. Let's open up our camel one last time so we can kind of remember what it looks like here. And then we're going to open up our fox. Okay, so you can see that the content is specific to those 2 animals, which is great. The graphics are similar, a little different here, but similar enough that I could probably get over that they're not exactly outlined the same way or whatever, but we do have some really good information here that's geared towards our little learners. So I've customized this so that they're actually seeing this and it's accessible to them. So just depending on where I want to put this, maybe I'm putting it in Google Classroom or into Seesaw, something like that. But it does do a pretty good job of, even if I'm creating 2 separate graphics in 2 separate infographic prompts, it does a pretty good job of keeping the style very close. So again, our camels here, and then our fox there. So that is NotebookLM Infographics. Again, our best tips and the things that we highly recommend is don't just let it create whatever it's going to create. Make sure you're giving it some information so that it's creating exactly what you want it to from the beginning and you're not having to regenerate things. Thanks for watching.